This is awesome. Well, let's go to week 0, man. Let's go to week 0. Bob, I'm going to save the good one for you. But let's talk about, you got Dan Mullen out there at UNLV, Idaho State. UNLV's 26.5. That's a big number for week 0. And Dan Mullen, and they don't even know if they're going to be able to pay his contract.
Right.
What are you thinking about Dan Mullen in his first game as, at UNLV?
Now, I would have to dive into the specific number. Maybe it's out yet. Maybe I've missed it. I would look at UNLV's team total to the over against Idaho State. I am really intrigued based on what Dan Mullen had said yesterday, Schlegs, about the quarterback process. 2 QBs we know very well. Anthony Calandria from Virginia. If you ever watch an ACC game on a Thursday night, UVA, Wake Forest, this guy's spinning it. Maybe the most reckless throws you would ever seen, but somehow tipped up into the air for a 77-yard touchdown. He plays with a brazen spirit that we love. And, of course, the name we all know from Big Ten country, Alex Orji, the Michigan transfer, maybe not the best thrower of the football, but a dynamic athlete. Mullen has said he is going to use both guys. They're playing an FCS opponent in Idaho State. They have the ability to kind of work through it. Both guys auditioning, right? Trying out for the quarterback spot, but in real live game experience. UNLV's got a lot of talent, and Dan Mullen can coach the heck out of the offensive side of the football. So if you're looking at the running Rebs, I would go to the over of their team total. I think the game total, 56.5. I could be off when I'm saying that. 26.5 is that spread. So you got to think it's somewhere in the low 30s, if I'm not mistaken. I think UNLV can score 5 touchdowns, 35-plus points, something in that ballpark. That's how I would approach that game.
All right, going across the pond, the Aer Lingus College Football Classic from the plains of the United States, Farmageddon, the wheat, the corn, the soybeans. Now we're going to the Potatoeville over in Ireland. K-State, -3.5. Both of these teams, Ben, I think a lot of people are picking in the top 3 or 4 of the Big 12 that you mentioned with so much craziness. Where do we like anything there?
Yeah, we like a ton of things, Bobby, in this game. It's a great game to start week 0. In fact, the best game to start week 0 that we have seen in more than 2 decades. It is the first time since 2002 when week 0 returned to FBS college football that we have a top 25 tilt, ranked versus ranked. Is Bobby so excited he had to clear stage left? All right, Bobby. I love it.
In 2002, Ben. I don't know if you remember this right here. Pigskin Classic, Buckeyes over Texas Tech. There we go.
We love the PC. So Pigskin Classic, back in the day, Bobby, that had all the top 25 games, right? Top 25 versus top 25. That's beautiful. But since we got rid of the Pigskin Classic and what started off the year and week 0 came back, here we go. Top 25 tilt, K-State, Iowa State, in a hugely impactful game for Big 12 conference implications. Here are my 2 bets. We're going to go over 49.5 in this top 25 affair between these 2 teams. Neither defense nearly as good as the standard in the Little Apple in Manhattan under Chris Kleiman last year. Gave up more than 23 points per game in the 4 full years under Kleiman previously. They had never allowed more than 22 points per game. So I think we're going to see that offense start hot on the other side for Iowa State. Rocco Becht, a lot to replace, but I do trust in the veteran signal caller under Matt Campbell. And Iowa State's defense, not nearly as good as we are used to in Ames a season ago, allowing more than 188 yards on the ground. The worst rushing defense that Campbell has had for his clone since his very first year there back in 2015. They were getting gouged on the ground. So it's another area I look with Avery Johnson, the dynamic quarterback for K-State, over 47.5 rushing yards. If you have player props available, I know that's a little dicey right now in Ohio. We're looking at you, Governor DeWise, if that's even the correct pronunciation of his last name. But where things are right now, I go Avery Johnson over 47.5 rushing yards against an Iowa State defense that has some returning production, but was really bad defending the run. I expect it to be better, maybe just not from the very start of the year. Johnson, 6 games last year, including Farmageddon, to end the year against the Cyclones, 10-plus rush attempts. In all 6 of those games, he had 10 attempts. He had at least 57 yards on the ground, averaging 74 yards per game in those 6. He had at least 10 carries. I expect that to be the case from the start. Over 47.5 rushing yards for the Cats quarterback.
Hey, do I have time for one more, Bob?
One more, Schlegs. One more.
Hey, I got a good one. Conference USA matchup off the rip. Sam Houston, Western Kentucky. Sam Houston last year, people don't realize this, 10-3. Now they were below Western Kentucky, but we got a showdown week 1, Conference USA, WKU, I think it's -10 Who do you got?
Yeah, it's a really great game, Schlegs. And again, another familiar face, Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator in Madison the last 2 years, makes his debut as the head coach at Sam Houston State. Different type of style than Sam Houston State the Bearcats had last year. Much more ground and pound, incredibly sound defensively. If we know anything about Longo, air raid football coming to it. And the Hilltoppers, Big Red, they love to throw the football. That's Tyson Helton's scheme. Again, if you're looking at a way to attack this game, I think Western Kentucky deserves to be a double-digit favorite. I think they probably end up covering that game. I would look for some points. I promise I am not just betting every single over for week 0. But if we see Phil Longo's scheme for the Cats this year and what we've expected the past few years from Western Kentucky and that Tyson Helton scheme, then I'll go to the over and seeing some points to start our second conference game in week 0 for 2 teams last year that were flirting with 10 wins in Western Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, playing in the conference championship game in CUSA. What a great start to week 0 that we have.